Hello everyone and welcome back to the series of Python Unleashed. My name is Ajay and today's topic is we are going to understand what exactly is abstract classes. Okay, so there are many people out there, they are really confused about abstract classes and the situations in which they are supposed to use abstract classes. Okay, so in this particular tutorial we are going to take an example and going to understand what exactly is abstract classes. Okay, so you can see there is an example in front of you, and there are two classes. This is a class that is a student class. For example, these two classes are for a for a particular school, and you're developing a software for a particular school, and then you'll be having the models, you'll be having the classes. So this is a class that is a student class, and the student will have some basic information like the name, the age, the address, and the unique ID. Unique ID will be like a Aadhaar card or any other unique ID of the student, and then we will have some roll number, class, and section, right? And then we will also have a class. We will also have a model that is a teacher. Now teacher will also have the basic information, that is name, age, address, the unique ID of the teacher, and then there will be something different other than the student because it's a teacher. So the teacher will have the information, that is like the grade of the teacher, the subject that the teacher is taking, and the shift in which the teacher comes. Maybe there are two shifts in the school. Okay, so these are the two classes. So now if you look closely to these two classes, if you pay attention closely, there is something very similar. The attributes are very similar in these two classes. So if you see that student class has the attribute, that is name, age, and address, and the unique ID. Similarly, even the teacher has the attributes, that is name, age, address, and the unique ID. So these are the similar attributes, right? So what we can do is we can take another class and make that as a base class, and then put this similar attributes in that particular class, right? So that's a much better approach. Okay, so let us take this another example, like over here. Suppose I do that. I have this one class that is a base class, and now you can see that in this particular base class we have the name, the age, the address, and the unique ID. And then from this class I have these two classes, that is a class student and class teacher. So these are the two classes that are inherited from this base class that is called as basic. Okay, and if you see the structure, this is a kind of this is a hierarchical inheritance, right? Because there are two classes, multiple classes getting inherited from a single class, so that's a hierarchical inheritance. Okay, so this looks a very perfect solution altogether, but the thing is, this class is just acting like a base class for these two classes. Okay, so you can create object of class student, and you can create object of the class teachers. Okay, but then I don't want the user that it should create these objects out of this particular class. So this particular class shouldn't get instantiated, means the user should not be able to create objects out of this particular class, because I just want this as a base. This is just acting as a base for these two classes. Okay, so I don't want that the user should be able to create objects of this particular class. Okay, so to achieve this particular task, that's where the abstract classes comes to picture. Okay, so let us get the perfect solution for this. Let us switch to Python straight away, and we already have this code typed in just to save a lot of time. And let me just explain this code to you now. What we have done, the same scenario I've just implemented over here. The first thing that we need to do in Python is there is a special module for abstract base classes, that is the module called as ABC. Now that's the name of the module, and from this module we are going to import, that's the class ABC. Okay, And then we have one more thing that is called as abstract method. Now this is a decorator. Now what exactly it is, in just few minutes I'm going to tell you. Okay, so these are the two things that we need to import, that is from the class module, that is ABC class, and that's a decorator, that is the abstract method. Okay, and then you can see I have the class, that's the name of the class, that is basic info, and you can see over here that's the um, that's the class that I'm deriving, that is ABC. Okay, then I have this constructor, and then we have this common attributes, that is age, that is the name, age, address, and the unique ID. Okay, just like what we wanted to do. So this is going to act like a base class for the other classes. Okay, so these are the common attributes, that is name, age, address, and the unique ID. And then you can see I have used this decorator. Now this decorator is basically just to indicate that whatever follows after this, I mean these methods, these two methods are basically abstract methods, so the user cannot create or cannot access this method. Okay, since this is an abstract class, so I'm keeping these two methods as abstract methods, so user cannot access it. Simple as that. Okay, and the most important thing what we need to do is, since this is going to act as a base class, so the methods will not have any implementation. Okay, so you can say that we are just kind of defining the rules in this particular base class. So the methods that have, that is accept that is accept basic information. Basic info is the name of the method. It will not have any implementation. Okay, we are just going to keep this as empty. Okay, so what exactly this means is, suppose if I inherit a class, that is a class student, from the class basic info, okay, then it is necessary for me that I should give an implementation for these two classes into this derived class. Okay, if I don't give, then Python is going to show me an error, understand it. So you're kind of defining these rules. Okay, and then I need to implement these two methods into this derived class. Now that is something that you need to do, otherwise you get an error, because it actually makes a lot of sense, isn't it? Because even if you have a student, so student is going to have name, age, address, and the unique ID. And if it's a teacher, even teacher is going to have name, age, address, and unique ID. So you're compulsory, you need to implement these two methods into this derived class. So if you look at this derived class, so this is a class student, and I'm deriving that from the basic info. So that's the basic abstract base class, right? So you can see that we have the attributes, and the students will have the attributes, that is roll number, class, and section, and there will be so many other attributes. I'm just keeping it very short over here just to make you understand how you're supposed to use an abstract base class. Okay, so then you can see we have this the same function that we had in this base class, that is accept basic info. Okay, and I have implemented this particular method into this derived class. So I'm accepting data, that is name, age, address, unique ID. That's the attributes of the base class since I'm deriving it. So it's the part of the derived class now. And then it is having its own set of attributes, that is the roll number, class, and section, as you can see out here. Okay, and similarly then I'm displaying this. So that's the name of the method, that is display basic info. Even this method actually belongs to the base class, but then I need to give this implementation to these two classes into this derived class. Okay, similarly then you can see we have one more class, that is teacher, and teacher has its own attributes, that is grade, subject, and shift. And then you can see the same method I have implemented out here, since it is also derived from the class, that is basic info. So it has name, age, address, unique ID, then the grade, subject, and then shift. And similarly then the display basic info, I have given that implementation. Okay, and that's where I have just evoked, created the object and evoked the methods. Okay, now just to show you if in case uh, for example, if I try to create um, you know a object of class basic underscore info. Okay, so the user, if he tries to create a class object of class basic info, and if you try to run this now, okay, it will show you this error, and the error says that you cannot instantiate abstract class basic info with abstract methods, right? That is these two methods. So you cannot do this. Now what I've done is I've just kept this as my base for the other classes, and then the user has nothing to do with this class, that base class. User will simply just you know just derive these classes from the base class and just use it, and then that user will be forced to implement these methods. Okay, now let us just create the same thing. I'll just go back. Okay, now over here I've created an object that is of class student, and then a dot accept basic info, a dot display basic info. Let me just give the message over here, that is print. This is, I'm doing it for teachers. Okay, and I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here, and I'll say this is for, okay, this was for students, so this is for teacher and this was for the students, so this becomes for the students. Okay, now if I run this code, and you can see it is for the students, it will accept it will ask me the name. So Ajay, age is maybe 12, address, unique ID, roll number of the student, and the class is 6, and the section is A, right? And then you can see I've just displayed that using that basic display basic info. I've displayed that data, and now it is asking me the input for the teachers, and for the teachers I can give the same kind of input, that is the name, age is maybe 25, address, okay, I've just give some number, okay, no issues, then the unique ID, then the grade of the teacher, maybe any grade, is maybe a senior teacher, or maybe uh, or a primary teacher. Okay, and subject that the teacher is teaching, that is maybe English, shift maybe a second shift, and that's it. And here we have the output, that is Vijay 25 and all that information. Okay, so this is how you are supposed to use the abstract base class. Now what is the situation where you will be using this abstract base class? Abstract base class will only act as a base for the other classes, and you don't want that you in future the user should be able to create objects out of the base class. So under such a situation you will be creating you will be no declaring that class as an abstract base class, and then you will have that functions that needs to be implemented into the derived class, and you need to use this decorator. Okay, and just keep it empty, and then when the user inherits this particular class, okay, he'll be forced to implement these two methods. If you don't use these methods, if you give some other name, for example, if I just remove this O from here, so this is now, it's this is like another method of the same class for that particular class, that is for the student. Okay, and then if you just try to run this, okay, it will give you an error, that is can't instantiate abstract class student. So you are forced to use this, that is the abstract method, that is display basic info and accept basic info. Okay, so that's how to do it. Now the one more little thing that we need to do is, okay, since if you look at these two derived classes, we have the same data again and again. I need to type, that is name, age, address and unique ID, name, age, address and unique ID, right, for the teacher and for the students. So what we can do, we can just have a simple class out here, that is def, and I will say accept self. Okay, and what I will do is just cut this particular part, okay, and paste it over here. Okay, this makes a lot of sense, because every time you have a derived class, you're deriving class from this particular class, then you have to type in this code again and again. So I will just have a simple function, a simple method into this base class, and one more method I will have, that is for the display. Okay, so one more method, that is def, and I say display self. Okay, and then I'll just cut this particular part, that is name, age, and the unique ID, and just paste it over here. Okay, so okay, this looks good. And then what I need to do over here is just give a call to that function, that is accept, and over here I just need to give a call to, okay, not over here, this is a constructor, so I remove it from here and paste it over here. And over here I need to call to the function that is display, and the same thing I will be doing out here. I'll just remove this whole thing and simply give a call self dot accept, and delete this particular part, and self dot display. Right now this is like perfect. So whenever I derive a class from this particular base class, so for accepting data of the attributes of this base class, I will simply call the function that is accept, and for displaying the data I will simply use the function that is display, so I don't have to type in a lot of code. Okay, so now let us just run this. Okay, that is an indentation issue, just a minute, that is a colon out here. Oh, not over here, just a minute, this is a call. So okay, that is the base class over here. Okay, okay, there is an indentation issue. Okay, that's the indentation issue, that's the error. Just a minute, let me just fix this. Okay, looks good. Over here also I guess there is a problem. Okay, so let me just fix this indentation issue. Okay, now let's just run this, and we have this indentation issue again, that is accept. Okay, let me just fix this up. It does not match the outer indentation, it looks good to me. Okay, then okay, that's the problem. Over here was over here, just a minute, there is the indentation issue basically. So let me just fix this up, and we will just run this code now. Okay, now I think it looks good. Now it is accepting data, that is enter name. So if I give a J, age is 12, address, unique ID, and roll number of the student, the class is 6, the section is A, and you can see the data has got displayed. And now it is asking the data for the teachers. So teachers name maybe J, age is maybe 30, address, the unique ID, the grade maybe a senior teacher this time, and subject maybe computers. Okay, and then the shift is maybe the first shift, and that's it, and here is the data. Right, so this is how you're going to use the abstract base class, and this is the situation. So once you build a professional, you're building a professional software, so this is how you're supposed to keep your approach. Always have these base classes, abstract base classes, and from that base classes you can derive other classes. So this abstract base classes will only have some basic data, basic attributes, or basic methods. Okay, and then from that classes you can have the other classes. Things gets easy with that. Okay, that's it for now. Bye for now.